Today is Tuesday, the 14th of November. The election's just about a year away, and I want to share with you some news from the New York Times. I made a video about this. I made a TikTok about this. And this is an article on the Sunday paper about Donald Trump's plans when it comes to immigration. Now, of course, nobody really thinks he's sitting around thinking about immigration, but various news stories have reported that he's surrounding himself with loyalists, that one of the reasons he thinks his administration was undermined the first time was that he had appointed traditional Republicans and people who cared about the rule of law. They're not going to make that mistake again. And so they are going to try to impose an imperial presidency where the president is basically king and can do what he wants. So they're interviewing thousands and thousands of lawyers and apparatchiks who will just do whatever Donald Trump says. And one of the big themes of that is immigration, of course, because, of course, on the day he announced his campaign the first time, he talked about Mexicans being rapists and they're not sending us their finest. As soon as he took office, he imposed the Muslim travel ban, and he is going to he and his team, led by Stephen Miller, the little xenophobe that there is, to round up every undocumented person that they can. And of course, with DACA and the immigration courts, they have records. They know where lots and lots of undocumented people are, people who are in the United States without status. Donald Trump and the people that support him want to round all those people up and to expedite the way that they remove people, to take away all the statutory and regulatory protections that are there for people facing deportation. He wants to do away with all of it. There's little Stephen Miller. They're going to build these huge deportation camps where they hold undocumented immigrants, probably separated from their children, awaiting deportation to get them out of here as fast as possible. This is all at the same time where Donald Trump is tweeting out on Truth Social, his social media platform, calling immigrants and enemies of him vermin, which is the same words that Adolf Hitler and Benito Mussolini used. So this is who's running for president. This is who's going to win the nomination of one of the two major political parties in the United States. And if he becomes president, this is what he wants to do. They want to overwhelm immigration lawyers and all the procedural and state safeguards that we have, and they're proud of it. They're proud of what they want to do. They're proud of sounding these anti-immigrant sentiments and trying to gin up that 39% of people who love Donald Trump and hate brown people and hate immigrants and hate the mixing of the races. This is what we are up against. This is why that election is so important. I'm going to talk about it probably every day between now and November 5th next year. Say what you want about Joe Biden, and Joe Biden is not an inspirational candidate. He is older than dirt. He's boring as F. I get all that. But if you care one iota about any immigrant, not just one immigrant, legal or undocumented, you've got to do what you can as a U.S. citizen to oppose Donald Trump. You've got to do what you can to help Joe Biden get elected. These people are not fucking around. The first time around, Mitch McConnell cheated, stole one or two Supreme Court seats from the Democrats. They packed the lower level courts with Trump appointees, people that are loyal to Donald Trump, like this clown that we have presiding over the case in Florida, who has no business being part of the federal judiciary. And they are going to uphold all this crap that Stephen Miller wants to put in place. So you guys have to pay attention to this. If you have friends who are citizens, or if you are married to a citizen, this is not the election to stay out. This is the one to get involved in. This is the most important election of my lifetime. It's the most important election of our lifetime. And that's just if you care about immigrants. I mean, all the other terrible things that the Trump administration would mean. I don't want to be alarmist. I'm not trying to scare people, but this is what they are saying. And if there's one thing I've learned about these people is what Maya Angelou said, and that is, when people show you who they are, believe them the first time. I told everyone when Donald Trump was running for office that he was a racist, that he was sounding racist dog bells, and he was always able to sort of couch it in this, oh, I didn't really mean it. Oh, they're taking things I said out of context. And that gave cover to all the people who liked what he said, but didn't want to publicly say what they said. I was calling it out back in 2015 when he was a candidate. I knew exactly what he was doing. I saw where we were headed, and I was 100% right. I wasn't 95% right. I was 100% right. I lost friends because I told them, this is bullshit that you're supporting Donald Trump. And this is what he's calling for. They didn't care because they were white, they were privileged, and they were safe. But I knew as a Muslim and as married to an Arab and the father of mixed race children that this was not going to be something that ended well. And I was 100% right. So now, for all those people who voted for him last time and said, oh, we didn't really know he was going to be that bad, you can't say that anymore. If you vote for him, you're voting for this. You're saying that's okay. You're saying we want to return to separate but equal. We want to return to women being forced to have abortions after being raped. If you vote for him this time, if you don't vote against him this time, you're supporting that. You're supporting that. You're saying that's okay. Munir, you got to be joking me. Let's talk about Biden's 5 decades of racism. Who gives a? Is he a threat to you? Is he a threat to immigrants? He is not. He is not in any way, shape, or form a threat to anybody in the same degree as Donald Trump. It's a total joke to say, what aboutism? What about this? What about that? If you are supporting Donald Trump, you're voting for everything I just said. You are voting for everything I just said, and you're saying it's okay. You're saying what he did for 4 years was okay, and you're saying what he's proposing now is okay. I have every confidence in the world that Joe Biden will beat Donald Trump. I called Donald Trump beating Hillary Clinton. I knew it. I called it weeks before. I have a recording of me saying it on stage that the Muslims better be ready, because I knew that there were a whole lot of people who really liked what he said, who really are worried about the browning of America, who want America to stay white, right? I knew from a kid that when David Duke, an ex-KKK Klansman, ran for office in Louisiana, that only 4 or 5% of people on the phone said they would vote for him. And he ended up, a former KKK Grand Wizard, ended up with 30% of the vote. So I knew that same shit was going to happen with Donald Trump, that he was polling low, but Hillary was so hated. I knew Donald Trump was going to win, and I called it. So I hope and pray that everybody's taking this seriously and that everybody's going to vote for Joe Biden. And I don't like Joe Biden. I have lots of problems with Joe Biden, but I'm a sophisticated enough voter and I'm a smart enough man to know that in an election, it is binary. Like somebody said in the comments, it's a binary choice. You have a choice for Donald Trump. You have a choice for Joe Biden. You have a choice for 2 different futures. And if you want camps at the border and raids by ICE all over the country, trying to find every single undocumented kid, grandma, abuela, dad, hardworking people, who do you think's doing all this work for you? Who do you think's keeping the country running? You know how this country's running? This country's running on the back of immigrants. You want to round up 13 million of them and ship them out? Give me a break. I'm sort of inclined to end the show right now, but I'm going to calm down. And I did want to talk about that. I wanted to get that off my chest. I'll probably talk about it some more. If anybody doesn't like it, there's lots of other YouTube shows that you can call in, but that's the deal. That's the deal. All right, let's get back to business. Let's talk about some immigration.